idea.
Nuh-uh. No synonyms either. Give me a real answer.
I'm just not that into aliens or video games.
It's not just any alien. It's...
Oh, come on. Anyone else having a problem with their phone? Ooh, what? Oh, God. Oh, God!
So, I know that I put up a roadmap for all the videos I want to cover this year, but after my left a live review, I needed a palate cleanser. I just needed a game that let me get behind a guy and bop them on the head. Watch Dogs 2 scratches that itch. When it comes to its stealth mechanics, it's nowhere as deep as Phantom Pain, but I don't need it to be. I'm not doing a full review in the game or anything. I just want to talk about its stealth gameplay and mission design, maybe touch on its themes. At its most basic, Watch Dogs 2 has pretty straightforward stealth mechanics. Line of sight detection, moderately sticky cover, one-button melee takedowns, and the ability to swap between lethal and non-lethal firearms. The only big letdown is the fact that you can't move enemy bodies, but you couldn't do that in Splinter Cell Conviction either. Eventually, you can improve your toolkit to include the ability to distract enemies with their phones, to make it easy to do frontal takedowns, or knock an enemy out in front of another enemy. You can also set traps by either crafting shockers or IEDs, or rigging environmental hazards to explode when an enemy reaches their zone of influence. Then there's all the big brain moves you can do with remote operating cars and other appliances to attack enemies. It can be overwhelming, but the game simplifies it by mapping everything to the hack button. Just point on what you want to hack, and then press the corresponding face button for whichever action you want that object to perform. Watch Dogs 2 makes a commendable effort to streamline the hacking, but if too many targets are overlapping with each other, it becomes all too easy to hack the wrong target. The driving is fine, but if you don't have any hacking upgrades, then you'll have a hard time shaking off your tail if you end up catching police or gang attention. What I find most interesting about Watch Dogs 2 is that it doesn't have many of the things we normally ascribe to Ubisoft open world games. No towers to scale to activate to find more activities, no tailing missions. Hell, in a way, the game almost feels like an immersive sim with some of the things you can do with remote hacking. For instance, if you can find a scissor lift, you can use it to go around hostile areas and avoid any unnecessary heat. You have an RC car and drone, and you can use them to complete your objectives. The RC car can squeeze through small spaces and manually connect to nodes. The drone can move freely around 3D space, and do recon or solve circuit puzzles in hard-to-reach spots. The circuit puzzles are a nice addition to the gameplay. They get more complicated as the campaign progresses, but they never outstay their welcome for me. I like how missions are broken up into several phases. It lets the game mix and match its various systems and stitches them together with technobabble explanations. You can start out sneaking into a location to retrieve data, then do a circuit puzzle, and then peek into a target's home. Sometimes, you peek into a space and the game briefly turns into a basic adventure game. You change perspective by jumping between surveillance cameras and look for things to hack to progress the scene. Being an Ubisoft title, a lot of the missions are ripped from the headlines. The first mission you do as an official member of DedSec is to trick Martin Shkreli into thinking he became the exclusive owner of Wu-Tang's new album. Then you break into Sony's movie studio and leak their emails. Then you help John Travolta, David Hasselhoff, Don Johnson to escape from Scientology Mormonism.
Oh yeah, man, and one last thing, man. Like, your last 5 movies have been just disappointing as shit, so act better. Alright, keep your chin up. Peace!
I could go on, but you get the idea. If I had to compare Watch Dogs 2 with anything, I'd say it's like the Barbie movie. They both say a lot of things that I definitely think we as a society should talk about, but they're both products of the very thing they're meant to critique. I don't get too political on here, but I do think that capitalism will turn everything into a vehicle of capitalism, even things that are meant to criticize capitalism. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I can't help but roll my eyes at all the stuff about taking control of our data from the game that requires me to run Uplay or whatever the hell it's called nowadays if I want to play it. Cynicism aside, one mission that really stood out to me was the Google parody.
Yo, Horatio, man, I'm scared, bro.
What is it?
Don't nobody look like us.
Oh, man, welcome to Silicon Valley. Hey, what do you call a black man surrounded by thousands of white people?
What?
Mr. President?
Hey, man, they see 2 of us together, they gonna think we plotting.
We are plotting.
I think it spoofs the Silicon Valley setting a lot better than GTA 5, and it's got the additional bit about the only 2 black guys on DedSec being the only 2 black guys on Google's campus. A lot of the humor isn't even what's said outright, but how Marcus and Horatio change their voices around other people on campus to appear less intimidating.
Hey, do you want a coffee?
No, I'm fine.
Oh, please, help yourself to a pomegranate. They're to die for.
You're so great. Thank you so much.
Okay, neato. Punk would love to lay his ass out. I can't stand that mother... Hey, Becky.
Gentlemen.
The other mission that hits different these days is the one where you hack into Ubisoft San Francisco's office. It's a glorified trailer for whatever upcoming game they had at the time. The insane thing to me about this mission is how consequence-free it is, and how that's so unlike what happened with the recent leaks from Insomniac and Rockstar. People who worked on those games had their personal data held for ransom and then released. Here, it's just, oh man, I can't wait for that game to come out.
Pop quiz, guys. What does every gaming website love most?
Being considered journalism?
Even when Ubisoft isn't trying to be tone deaf, the universe will rewrite itself to make them so. If you're wondering where I left off in Watch Dogs 2, I just replaced a motherboard on a commercial rocket, and I'm waiting for the next launch. To sum it up, stealth gameplay is simple but fun. I'm a stickler for almost perfection, so I end up doing a lot of save scumming with checkpoints to get mostly clean stealth runs. I like how the game isn't stingy with money, so you can shop around for whatever outfit you want at the start, and print out whatever guns you want in your kit. If you haven't already, play Watch Dogs 2.